Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another episode of Overbooked, the series where I talk about every single book on my shelves because I will go to the space ball. Today we are talking about Marissa Meyer's Lunar Chronicles series. Oh, that's not good under these overhead lights, is it? Some quick disclaimers before we start. All the books in this series I either bought myself or was gifted by family. I own book one physically and the rest on Kindle. There are some content warnings you might want to keep in mind, so I will link the story graph below so you can check those out. And lastly, I'm going to keep things as spoiler-free as humanly possible, though if you do want to go in knowing absolutely nothing, click away now, don't watch review videos before you've read it if that's your attitude. Come on now. This is a 4-book YA sci-fi series, though there are an additional 2 graphic novels, which I've got behind me just here. There are also some short stories, but the main actual Lunar Chronicles are the 4 books, which are Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, and Winter. She's sad because Katie's away, so we're going to be extra nice to Luna today and let her breathe into the microphone while I review this series, okay? There she is. So if you see me wiggling my hands, I'm giving the good pets. There we go. Now just don't pull out the audio cable like you did last time. This is a YA sci-fi series, but it is also fairy tale retellings. So if you're not here for a retelling, this isn't going to go well for you. Marissa Meyer is an American author and podcast host who also apparently had a lot of interest in anime when she was younger, which is interesting. And also there's some fan fiction in there somewhere, which makes a lot of sense. She is one of those authors who has always kind of had a background in publishing from education all the way through to now, which I always find interesting. Some authors have very different jobs before they publish. Some authors have just always been bookish. What is the actual plot? We are in the future, I believe. It is either the future or some alternate reality where we have the world on the Earth and then the Lunars who live on the moon. And there's very much a kind of prejudice from one to the other, but down on Earth there is a girl called Cinder who is a cyborg. She has a cyborg foot. Are we getting where this is going? Yes, there is a prince, there is a plague, there is all sorts going on, and there is a lot of yes, you shall go to the ball kind of there. It's sort of fairy tale retelling meets an actual space war. The stakes are fairly high. My biggest pro for this series is that they are just fun. They get quite long, so I wouldn't call them like super duper easy, just read them all in an evening kind of books. But for the most part, they are just the kind of book that I pick up when I really need something in the nicest possible way, kind of mindless. That's not to say that they're completely vapid, that they don't have anything of substance to them, because they do, but for the most part it is a nice easy read where you can kind of tell where things are going, and everyone pairs off neatly into very heterosexual pairs, unfortunately. But they do pair off very neatly, and you know where things are going and everything's going to be fine in the end. I think there is something to be said for the value of a comfort read. I love them. We all love them. We should read more of them. Frankly, this is your permission to pick up a comfort read today. I mentioned the romance, yes, incredibly straight. What are we going to do? But it is a nice romance. I like that some of them take a long while to kind of come to fruition, which is another reason that it's a very satisfying series as a whole, because you do get to see that progression of things. It isn't always love at first sight. Yes, there's some really, really nice romantic moments throughout the series. I would say that's sort of the driving force of a lot of elements. There's some other stuff going on as well, but in terms of what kept me reading this series the first time I picked it up, I wanted to see how the romance turned out. Maybe that's more of a signal of where I was when I first read this in like 2016. But alongside that romance, there are some really cool ideas, and it is a very action-packed plot. I don't think I was expecting the series to go to the kind of dark and quite difficult places that it gets to in Winter. And yeah, I really appreciated the book for doing that. It does have that slight feeling of a series that didn't 100% know where it was going until it got to around book 3, but at that point where things are really hammering home, that's very exciting, and I like the way that that builds into the graphic novels. Because it's got that sci-fi world, there's some really creative problem solving, especially in some of the later books and these kind of missions that they're doing. I appreciate a creative problem solve at all times, and I liked the use of technology and magic combined. This feels very reminiscent of YA of the time. I can't actually remember when Cinder was first published. Let me check and hope the dog doesn't scream. 2012. So yeah, 2012 YA. This feels very like that. Particularly book 1. Because it was 2012 YA. I don't know. I'm a great reviewer, honest. And if you love YA of that period, if you are nostalgic for YA of that period, this would be a great read, obviously. If that's something you despise, don't pick this up. But I think you probably know that about yourself. This is another one of those, if this is for you, it's for you. If not, no kind of series. Which I think is a real pro, because I love a series that is what it says on the tin. You know what you're getting into, you know what it's doing. Great. I do have to say that, again, being of its time, there's a few things that feel kind of dated about the way this series is written. I have questions about some of the world building elements and some of the mental health representation, perhaps. It's one of those kind of, it's not actively malicious, but it's not amazing either. And I think were you to rewrite this series now, it would have a lot of things different about it. If you had read this and you wanted something similar, or you wanted to know what to compare it to, there are 1,001 YA retellings out there. I read a lot of them. I would dare to say most of them, although there are so many, maybe not. I've probably barely scratched the surface. In fact, I used to have a tag on my blog that was the year of all the retellings, because 2018, there were so many of them. My most recent favourite fairy tale retelling was probably, she says, looking around like she can remember any book she's read ever. Maybe something like Six Crimson Cranes? Would that have been the most recent one? I don't know, but I do have a review up for Nettle and Bone, which is my favourite fairy tale inspired book from lately, though that's a very different vibe from this one. My other read it all the time comfort book is actually a Meg Cabot, which I think has a very similar kind of feeling, though that is more contemporary almost always, and that is Avalon High. I've read that book so many times you would not believe. The other things I wondered about were A Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which is another sci-fi, similar found family stuff, just less fairy tale-y and more slice of life than plot driven. And also Iron Widow I wondered about because it is YA sci-fi and it's a really, really good time. And it's very different and a little bit darker, I would say, perhaps, but such a good time. I had a great read. That's my most recent YA sci-fi read that I really loved. For final thoughts, in my notes I've written, not going to ruin your life if you haven't read them, which is probably about where I stand with this. I don't think these are well, you absolutely have to read these if you want to understand the history of YA or something like that. But I do think they are good fun. They have a lot of really comforting elements to them. They are very, very rereadable and very easy to read, which I always appreciate. And yeah, they're my I am tired and I don't know what else to read, I'll just grab my copy of Cinder and thumb through it in the bath. You know, that's the kind of vibe I'm going for. Have you read these? Do you have plans to? Is this a series that you would like to pick up if you haven't already? Or has the time passed for you and you're just like, no, I'm okay, I'll read newer stuff instead? Let me know. Are there any other 2012, 2010 to 2014 YA hits that you feel like people are missing out on if they don't go back through the backlist? Plonk those all down in the comments below. While you are down there commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated, and makes Lunar feel loved and appreciated too, I'm sure. Nothing makes us feel more loved and appreciated than our patrons over on Patreon. I like that Lunar is now a part of the channel. She's in enough videos, it's probably fine. I should start paying you. Start giving you a cut of the AdSense, huh? If you'd like to join their number, that is linked below, as is my social media and my Discord, where you can find all exciting things and nice chats about books. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me. That's all from us. And I'll see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. It's fine, I know what I'm doing. So yes, it's Wi-Fi sci-fi. It's YA science fiction. Oh, hello. We done being good and quiet and nice. We come to disturb. So this is a YA... Why can't I say YA sci-fi? And yeah, there's some really nice... Thank you for burping into the microphone. Stop wheezing into the microphone.